All right. Hi, family. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much. This is Diana. You can call me D. Um, Welcome back to my channel. And I would love to ask y'all to please help me grow this channel and also to hit that subscribe button and to smash the like. So, the reason I wanted to go live today was just to set the record straight on why I left DaDa. Right. So, I worked for DaDa for 2 years. Yes, 2 years. And it was on a temporary basis. So I taught like 3 classes a day for 3 days a week. Yes, there was an amount that we had to teach by. And it started off like that. So gradually I was going to grow into it and see how it was going to be to see whether okay I was comfortable with it and whether I wanted to teach full time with it. So I taught with them, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to continue. So that was for about 9 months that I was doing that on and off for, well, which I would say was part time. It was about for 9 months. It was okay. It was something new for me. It was a different school that I taught with. It wasn't the first school that I had taught with. So it was a learning curve. I had to figure out what they wanted as a company from me and how I best could give that service to them. And that was all cool. So I had to submit my resignation because things got a bit more tight for me at my permanent job, and I had to pick up, do like a lot more. So it was me trying to split my time, and then I also had a baby. So it was a lot. It was going on at one time. So I thought, okay, no, let me focus on one thing at a time, even though it was giving passive income to me, which was pretty cool. I needed to focus, and I also needed to just give myself that time and that break, and just enjoy my being a mother, a first time mom, experiencing everything that I was, and I don't regret doing that. And I think it was about 7 months later to the date of me resigning from Dada, and one of the staff members sent me an email asking if I was interested in working with Dada again. And at that time, I was like still thinking of Dada and thinking, okay, it would be nice to be able to leave work in the place that I was working at and actually become an online teacher full time, because now I was a mom and I didn't want to spend any time away from my son, right? And I thought about it, I considered it, but I just wasn't sure if I was ready to make that move. And so after sending that email, they offered me a raise as well, and they offered me quite a lot of different options too, and they also offered a lot of bonuses at that point, which sounded really nice. So I said, okay, I would do it. You know, I still wanted to make that passive income and not rely only on one source of income, and it pretty much, like, who doesn't want passive income? Anybody would like passive income. And I started working with data again. It started out slow because I had to gain my students again. I had to build my entire platform up again, shall I say? Sorry, platform up again. I had to do a new intro video. I had to submit new documentation like your criminal record and all of that. It was a new process that data was taking on. Also, there was a lot of changes that data had made in that time, and I filled in my slots. So you get slots, and the working time for South Africans now is between 12 and 3 p.m. every day, including weekends. Weekends is more flexible though, because the kids are at home. But I never worked on weekends because I just felt no, that is solely time for me and my son and my husband, just to spend time together as a family. I wanted to still dedicate that time. And I then took on the job. I opened up my time slots for the peak hours. So even though they say it's flexible, it's not really flexible because you have to work during the peak hours. So what data is that the peak hour slots are the only slots that are open, even though they say it's flexible and that you can work in your time. It's not really your time. It's the time that is allocated by them, and it's given in a specific time, right? So even if you did try and book any other class, you wouldn't be able to, because it was low lighted. And the ones that were bold were the ones that you would open up your slots by. So it was the word flexible, I think, is more for weekends than it is for midweek. And not only midweek, because that's when majority of the students would actually come, but for the entire duration of the week. And so I opened my slots and I was communicating with the person, I'm not going to mention names, with the person that had sent me an email asking if I wanted my job back. And he was very kind, very friendly. He helped me a lot. And he said, okay, he's going to try and up my video. Wasn't sure what that meant, to try and get me to have more bookings. And I was like, okay, cool, thank you. I appreciate that. So within me accepting the new offer, the new pay, the new policies that they had, and the bonuses, which were pretty cool. Like you would get bonuses just for coming into class early. You would get bonuses for doing your reports on time. You'd get bonuses for submitting reports for them as well and giving extra homework to the students. Like there was a lot of bonuses that you would get, which would actually make your salary way more than what the teachers on the old contract were. And I think it was a week. I remember, yeah, I was talking to him for about a week, and within that week, I was able to, by the next week, so I waited like a week and a half. And after a week and a half, my slot started to fill up quite nice. It was like really nice. So I would go in, I would teach. I must say the platform was really nice. I did enjoy it a lot. I liked the interaction with the kids, especially because I was able to incorporate things like minicam and just try and change the dynamics of the teachings to best suit the student. And I wasn't limited to that. I did enjoy the platform a lot. I did enjoy how they left me to be able to teach according to how I wanted to teach the student, not based on what I wanted to do. So I did not have to be so like I didn't have to do rote learning and force the kid to learn in that classroom if that kid was not learning. So long as there was conversation and communication and some interaction with the kid, they were happy with that. And so you got to try and incorporate different learning techniques for each different child, which wasn't a problem for me. It was very nice. And the reason I'm wearing this t-shirt is because this is the color that they wanted only. So it had to be a specific shade of blue that they wanted to for the platform. And after a while, sorry, I saw that a lot of other teachers were not wearing this. They were just not following protocol. I wasn't sure why, but anyway, I didn't want to do anything wrong and I continued. Sorry about the background noise. My son is here. And I continued working with DaDa for quite a while. It started out really well. The pay was really nice. Like a lot of people sent a message and asked how much. So I was able to make more than 23K a month just with DaDa, beside my other things that I was doing on the side, more than 23K a month, which was really, really nice. And I was like, who, that's passive income. That's good. And um, I worked with them, like I said, for 2 years, and it was really nice. But then things started to change. Like there was this one student who was very rude in the classroom, and I even tried to take my slot away so that I did not have to teach this child. And after trying to reach out to IT and the support channels that they had, just to say, look, I'm not comfortable teaching this child because he's not respecting me as a teacher, and I don't want to disrespect him as a student because I'd be going against policy rules. So when I said that, there was more action taken to the matter because it was, so if I was to break protocol, it would have been a problem. But if the student was breaking protocol and being rude, then they were kind of okay with it, and I was not happy with that. That was the first reason I wasn't happy. So they totally ignored the fact that the student was being blatantly rude. That child was so rude. And I would just tolerate it, and I would try to speak to the child about manners, play different videos, whatever you can think of, I tried it. And for me, the worst was that the kid's parent was right next to them when they were doing all of these things. So if the parent wasn't stopping them, like, what's going to make them listen to me? Do you understand? And That was like one of the dampeners because I knew every week I was scheduled with the same kid at the same time, no matter what, unless that child was absent. And funny enough, guess what? That child was never absent, not a day in his life. He was there. He was there. And if I had to cancel the classes, I would get penalized or I would get sent a letter stating that you can't be taking off so much and blah, 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 a whole lot of other stuff. So I must say they did not really protect their teachers as much for me. I have seen other videos from other teachers and they have said the same thing. So for me, I didn't feel like was supporting me, especially with what I was giving out for the company. Like I gave it my all. And this is just generally who I am. When I work with passion, I work and I give it 100% of who I am. And that was the first thing. The second thing was, sorry if you see me looking to the side, it's because I got some of my notes. They started to disable slots. So what I did was I had opened up slots and then I'd close some slots because I did not want students to take those slots. I was trying to figure out, okay, am I happy working so many slots and so much time, or do I want to change my time over? And I said to one of the parents, I have tried to open a slot up for your kid because this is the time that the kid was available. And the parent said, unfortunately, I don't see it open. And so I went onto my platform and I'm like, no, I'm sure that I did open it up. And when I looked, it was low lighted. So it meant to say that I could not book that time anymore. And that was within the peak hours. Um, and so a friend of mine went onto their iPhone and logged in as a parent on the Dada social network, right? And they went to go and choose me as a teacher, and it showed there that I didn't have any bookings open anymore. And I was like, okay, that's strange because I have like so many slots open that I can actually teach with. So that was the first thing that they were doing. And then I did email them just to ask like what's going on and could they clarify the matter for me because I'd like more information regarding it. Like why would they just disable a slot? Especially because it would benefit them as a company, me being able to teach in that time, especially being at peak time. So it didn't really make sense to me. And I got an automated response. And this person said, thank you so much for contacting us. We are so happy to hear from you and to hear about whatever you have to say. And we will try and sort this problem out as soon as possible. If you have any other concerns, please let us know. That was like a norm, a message that they were always sending out. Okay, so that was the second reason. And the third reason was the cancellations. So I had regulars, I had more than 20 regulars, which was a good thing. So the more regular students you have, the greater you know that you're going to get paid well because the greater you know that you're going to be teaching on those days and those slots are filled up. So I had more than 20 regulars, and every single day I would see those students every week at the same time. We always knew it was booked. So with Dada, you built a relationship with the student. It wasn't like one day I teach this kid and then tomorrow I teach another kid. I knew who I was seeing every single day at a certain time. So Dada started canceling classes, and I was very close to majority of my students, especially the ones that were able to communicate and have conversations with me, opposed to the younger learners. And one day I asked this little girl, and I said, "Why didn't you come to class yesterday?" And she said, "Because you cancelled." And I was like, "Okay, um, okay, let's carry on with the lesson." And I just changed the topic because I know that I did not cancel. I had no reason to cancel the class whatsoever. So Dada had started canceling classes. And I asked about three students why didn't they come to class and what was happening. And they all said to me because I had canceled the class. And they had to find a substitute teacher or go and get taught by another teacher. And I was like, okay, that is so strange. Again, I emailed Dada to find out what was going on, and I got the same automated response. And by this time, I was feeling a bit fed up like, okay, like I don't need to do this, especially if they're not treating me as a teacher, like, they're not treating me as part of the company. It was all about them and not really the teachers. They didn't really care about us. And I was in several groups and we all spoke about it. And I asked other teachers as well. And they said the same thing. They had the same issues. They had the same problems. And they didn't feel that Dada supported them at all. And this is sad because this was one of the leading schools for online teaching, and a lot of people know about it. And then before COVID-19 hit, prior to that, like a long time before that, they started dropping the pay. So they took away the bonuses, they took away like all the perks that they had added into our contracts, and they just felt that they could change contracts whenever they wanted to, as many times in that month that they felt that they wanted to. And we couldn't do much as teachers. So it was very one sided. And I was like, okay, this is passive income, but I mean, you get used to passive income being a certain amount. And for me, I'm like, I'm working, so you can't just keep on deducting. And I am working. And then I would get random emails like, you missed class today, you entered late, you didn't wear the color shirt. And I'm like, what? Are you crazy? That's not true, because on our platform we were able to go back and see our previous classes and actually watch the video of that. And I would send them screenshots of me wearing the attire, me entering the class on time, because it actually noted what time you enter the class, and the duration of the class that I stayed for. You had to stay the full 30 minutes or 15 minutes if it was a trial class. So I was able to back myself up with that because of the system itself. And again, there was never recompensation. There was never compensation for the deductions that they took or the penalties that they took. There was never a sorry or we made a mistake or just some form of communication from them. There was never any of that. And by this time, I'd learned that the guy who actually got me into the company had resigned as well. So for me, I was like, okay, he's resigned. I don't know when he resigned, but surely then something shady is going on. And in a lot of the communities that I was I was in on Facebook, a lot of teachers were complaining about the same thing and how data was just not being reliable anymore, and they were pinpointing small little errors and so forth. One teacher even said that she had a bottle of water next to her and she drank that water in class, because we are allowed to drink water. Like, hello, we have to keep hydrated. And she got a warning letter for drinking water. And I was just like, okay, that's not cool. So they started dropping our pay. So think about, yeah, I was making more than $24 an hour. So they dropped it to about $15 an hour. That's a big drop. And then they continued to drop it slowly and slowly and slowly. Then they started putting in these measures of, if you have so many regular students and if you do so many classes a week and so many classes a month, that you would get a step ladder. That's what they called it, a step ladder. And in that step, it was okay, if you have so many classes, you get paid so much. And if you have so many sessions, you'll get paid so much. And if you work within the peak time, you'll get so much extra. So you had to qualify certain criteria before you were able to get what rightfully was your pay to begin with. Yeah, to begin with, I would say. And I was just like, no, man, no, that's not cool. And in this time, I was already I was sending out my CV and I was sending out my stuff to different companies, so that I was thinking, okay, if I'm gonna leave this, I would rather leave while I'm in something else, because I'm used to the passive income, instead of just leaving it and doing nothing, you know? So that was the next thing. And then they continued to drop the salary. Like, one of my friends was working and earning $25 an hour. They dropped her pay right to $10 an hour. And that was a lot. And the thing is that it wasn't passive income for her. It was her full-time job, and she'd been working for the company for like 5 years. So for them to do that to loyal staff and people who are there for the company, have been working for the company for a long time, that was like, okay. I was only there for 2 years. And the last thing that really annoyed me about Dada is that even though we were sending out communication and emails, respectful emails, not anything to say that we are fighting with people, or we just wanted answers. We wanted answers. And they were not responding. They were not giving us answers whatsoever. That for me frustrated me, because I'm like, who am I talking to? Who's there to listen? Who's there to hear? And the thing is that they wanted us as teachers to be there, ready when they sent an email and for us to respond within such a time, we had to do all of those things, but they were unable to correspond with us or talk with us or communicate with us. And they kept on shoving uh, more training, and you have to do this, you have to do this. The rules got more, we got penalized for literally every small thing, And so, like, for example, I did a lesson with the kid, and I was teaching the kid day and night. And one of the lessons, the kid could not understand. So I said, okay, at night we go, "Ah," and we sleep. And I got penalized because they said I yawned. And I was just like, okay, you know what? This is just being petty now. I did not want to work with a company that was petty. I wanted to maintain my job, especially because of the kids. And the difficult part for me of leaving was really the kids, because I really loved working with them. I loved interacting with them. I grew relationships with them. They would send pictures to me. We would chat. We would talk. It was so friendly. It was really a nice platform. It was super cute kids, apart from the one who gave me nightmares, apart from that one. But all the other kids were so kind. It was the parents were so nice. I had relationships with the parents as well. I was able to communicate with them. Majority of them sat in the lessons with their kids, and if they needed help as well, I would offer the help to them. So it was really nice in terms of the kids and the parents. But Dada itself did not support the teachers. They did not support us. They didn't hear us. They just carried on taking away and being petty and penalizing us for absolutely nothing. So in the end, they actually wanted us to become robots. And I do have a few friends of mine who are still working with Dada, but they are so unhappy. They're so unhappy. But it's also because they can't find anything else within the online community to work with. So those are some of the reasons that I left Dada. Yeah, I began to feel very unhappy. I began to feel like I'm being used. They just carried on finding fault in every little thing. And when you did show proof that, look, nothing is wrong, they didn't say anything about it. They didn't apologize or try to meet you halfway. Nothing like that. It was more like you are a robot and you just must do what you need to do and get off the platform. And the hardest part for me when I did resign was to say goodbye to the kids, because after having about more than 20 regular students, I ended up having about 12 regular students, and that did affect a lot of the dynamics, and they started changing the kids. So I knew that I was seeing, for the purpose of this video, Jane on a Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Suddenly there was a new student there, and I was like, okay, okay, maybe I'm subbing. And the next week would be a new student, and the next week would be a new student. And I was like, no, but I know that I have a regular student and it's Jane. So I'm not sure. I cannot say why they did all of these things, because Dada never ever communicated with us at all. At all. They were quick to tell us what we did wrong, but they could never ever talk to us as teachers. So I miss the kids, but the company itself, nah. And a lot of people and teachers on the platform have been saying how it is deteriorating and how they have still been getting. Why is my English like this today? They still have been getting a lot of deductions happening, and they are looking for other jobs. So, for anybody looking for a job with Dada, before you sign and say yes, just make sure you're going into the job knowing exactly what you want, what you're doing, and make sure to read the fine print. Please read the fine print, because there's a lot of things that they change and can change because of the fine print. So, we have no say. Basically, there's nobody to defend or fight for us. And us fighting for ourselves doesn't do anything. They will just cancel you out. And yeah, that's Butada. So a friend of mine actually woke up one day and all her slots were cancelled. The app was no longer working on her phone. So they just fired her just like that. No communication, no warnings, nothing. So I was like, no, I need to get out before, or if anything like that had to happen to me. And I had to make the decision, and that's why I left Dada. So those are parts of the reasons why I left it. And I will have a follow up video for this to tell you about the other online companies that I've worked for. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and push that like button. Thank you. Bye.